Now, by no means am I some spiritual guru, some all-time Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medal winning Usain Bolt, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. I'm not that. Not David Goggins. I'm not that. I am just somebody who acknowledges that he needs different principles to win. Because evidently, when I look back on my life, it's been a lot of failures, it's been a lot of downhills, and there's been a lot of uphills. There's been a lot of growth. If I look back on all the years of my life, it's always a net gain because I'm still alive and I'm still going to keep breathing and I'm learning. And so, since I haven't died and since it has been too difficult, I'm blessed. Hey, I'm blessed. What can I say? It's been pretty easy. These are principles that actually work and they're tailored towards high performance. I'll tell you a little bit why I'm so into high performing or being able to perform at an exceptional level. It's because I remember how it feels to not be able to perform at all. I remember how it felt to have absolutely no idea what I was doing. I have a very vivid memory of waking up and doing everything wrong and wondering why the heck my life was in shambles. And then the realization hit me about 5 minutes later that I was the problem. And so you guys hear me talk about the same things, and I always repeat myself because they're principles that I live by. And so if I can just reinstate the message to you, you can adopt them if you want. It's worked for me, maybe it'll work for you. Principle 1, play the long game. Any high performer I've ever seen in my life has always played the long game. Meaning they're not playing in days, weeks, or hours, not even they're not playing in like a year or 2 years, they're playing in decades, 5 years. And I never really understood this. I used to play by 6 months. That used to be the time horizon in which I kind of measured everything. I was like, okay, if I keep at this for 6 months and nothing happens, I need to do something else. And I realize now that for some odd reason, I hear the same story whenever I speak to entrepreneurs or when I listen to some of my favorite podcasts. You guys know I listen to a lot of Alex Hormozy. I'm a fan of his philosophy. And plus, I just like the advice he has on sales and business. But when I listen to these successful entrepreneurs, they all talk about a lucky day that comes out of nowhere between the 3 to 7 year window. Like it comes out of nowhere, completely out of nowhere. I don't know why this is, but for some odd reason, 4 to 7 is like the magic area where things just happen. Is this window where you've done it long enough to where you've become someone else that's deserving of whatever it is that you've desired. And there is a possibility that you aren't there yet. And you just have to defeat a few more foes, slay the dragon before the grand prize just hits you. Playing the long game is important, man. Playing the long game is super important. Measuring years, 5 years. If you're going to start a YouTube like I'm doing, don't just give up after 50 videos and say, okay, this isn't working. I'm not a millionaire yet. I don't have 1 million subscribers. In 5 years' time, if you consistently put out episodes and stayed dialed in on your content and nothing's happened, okay. Now we need some leverage. Now that we see it's a method problem. So there's 2 ways, and I like to define things because I don't really know much. And I don't think I know anything at all. And I don't like that because I remember how it felt to be mindless and not know anything and not know what I was talking about. So I like to define a lot of things. I define things in ways where I can do something about it. I define it in a way where it gives me a more coherent understanding of it, but I want to be able to do something with the definition. So if you want to play the long game, you just have to be able to be patient. Alex Hormozy defines patience as finding something to do in the meantime. I'm not against it. When it comes to being patient, I define it as, can I just sit still? That's it. Can I just sit still? Is this problem so agonizing to me that I can't freaking sit still, that I'm constantly anxious? If it is that big to where I literally cannot just sit and do nothing because I'm thinking about it and I need to do something about it, then I should probably take control and just start taking action. Now, conversely, if it's out of my control, then I have no choice. And so that's where you just accept. It's no longer a battle of, oh, I don't want to wait, I'm not patient. It becomes a battle of, I just accept. It's okay. Yeah, I'll be patient. Sure, no problem, right? Play the long game. Play the long game. Again, don't measure in weeks, months. Measure in years. And I have a very unique approach to handling a lot of things in life. And they're frameworks that I've just learned when I was working at a small company. Volume is the amount of time you do something repetitively, consistently. Leverage is how much you get in return despite how much you put in. So for example, if I take my hand and I am trying to break this table and I just kind of drop it from here, the likelihood of this table breaking is damn near zero. Now, let's say I was able to fly 7 million feet in the air, and then I just let my hand collapse from 7 million feet. This table will break because I have more leverage. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to drop, just like I did earlier, just drop. Volume is how many times am I going to do this before I realize it's not going to break, right? So we get the two mixed up sometimes when it comes to growth and just development or whatever it is that we're doing. If you're a content creator, we always fall into this bad habit, this bad cycle of switching up the method too quickly when we just haven't done enough repetitions. So for example, there's this ex-Army fitness business owner named Nick Bear. I think that's the best way for me to describe it. And I watched some of his videos, and I watched some of his oldest videos from about 12 years back. And he's highly successful now, hyper successful. I'm sure he's a multi-millionaire. But when you look at those videos 12 years back, I mean, it looked like he had nothing figured out. When you listen to his voice and you listen to the way he talks and how he carries himself, it's like, damn, good luck, man, you know? And that was 12 years ago. And now he just got a freaking headquarters with a 9,000 square foot gym and a 40-something thousand square feet warehouse and offices, and it's magnificent. He owns a supplement company. He owns a supplement company too, I believe. At that time, he didn't stop. It was just volume after video after video after video after video. And then you get the big break when you just don't stop and you have the momentum and it's accompanied with a genius idea. Like there's nothing more destructive in a good way and nothing more powerful than staying consistent, gaining momentum, because that is the greatest form of leverage, momentum. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this. If you lose momentum, you are screwed, because the amount of energy it's going to take for you to just come back to where you were is going to increase significantly. And it was just yesterday. And that, like, literally, it was just yesterday. That's how fast you can lose momentum. If you have been training for, let's say you've been working hard and you haven't had enough time to train, yes. Let's say you took 4 months off the gym. No big deal. Let's say you start going back and training for, say, 2.5 weeks now. And then the next day, you're like, I don't feel it. I don't feel like it today. I'm just going to take today off. You'll notice that once you take that whole day off, the day after, it's so much more difficult for you to go to the gym and train and exercise. Because you lost momentum. You have to start from scratch. And so now you put a lot in and you don't get a lot in return. That's leverage. Now, how can volume kind of come into play? And I always use an example of training because it's just the easiest one to comprehend. If you go to the gym consistently, you train every single day, day after day, there you go. You'll get better. That's your volume. That's it. You don't really need leverage. Leverage comes in when, let's say, you plateau. And I'm talking about, like, if you're just trying to stay in shape, man, it's a slim chance that you'll plateau. People that plateau have been lifting, strength training, powerlifting for decades, man. So they got to take a deload week and they need to change up their diet. They need to change up their lifts. They need to do a little bit of mobility work in the morning. Yeah, just look, man. Volume and leverage. Start with volume. Do something. Do it a lot. You can tell it's time for a change in strategy if you base the performance off a metric that tracks time. Remember, it's not 3 months or 6 months. Don't make the same mistake I did. It's years, decades. There is a time and a place where you should have the intelligence, or I would assume you have the intelligence to understand that, okay, I'm doing a lot of volume and I evidently see it's not working. It's time to change something up. So here's an example. And this isn't a brag or anything because I don't think it's that. I actually don't think it's meaningful at all. It's meaningful, but not meaningful. So it's, when I first started social media, believe it or not, it hasn't been that long. I think it's been like 2 years since I started social media. I don't remember. Not that long. Maybe 2.5 years. 2.5 years, man. Maximum. And I grew my Instagram from 0 to 70-something thousand in 2 years. And I'm talking about, I am the most inconsistent person when it comes to just posting content. Like, such a drag. I can't wait to have a personal assistant just post it for me. Like, she knows my entire schedule. She's like, we're like this. And I wake up and she's like, hey, by the way, on all your social media platforms, everything's posted. I'm like, yeah. Caption too? She's like, caption too. I said, yeah. I'll be like, yeah. You know? Make myself laugh sometimes. All that to say, there's a girl that I knew, and at the time I had like 70 posts, right? There's a girl that I knew because I was in the nail industry. She just happened to be in the beauty industry. She has a couple thousand posts and like 8,000 followers. And she has a couple thousand posts. 1,000. So evidently, now you need some leverage. It's not a volume problem no more. The volume's there. You have 3,000 posts. But your audience isn't growing. And I don't think fame or having a big audience really means anything. An audience or a bigger audience simply translates to the possibility of an increase in the number of conversions if you sell something, right? The more people see your stuff, out of 100, I'm sure there will be one that will be interested in buying it. And that's the whole point of an audience, because there's billions of people in this world. The more people you can reach, the more people you can teach, the more people you can help, and the more people can pay you and give you money because you are valuable, or whatever it is that you do. It's a brick and mortar, e-commerce, whatever. Volume and leverage. So important, man. So important. In business, we will always try new methods fast. Like, we'll do something for like a week or two, and we're like, this isn't working. Try something new. And sometimes it was good that we made the switch. And I believe that was due in large part to the intelligence that Adrian had just as a business owner, and as a person that knows how to market exceptionally well. And so I think the shot call to shift methods so often actually results in a net gain. But in the moment, it was very annoying, because it's like, dude, we can't stick for nothing. We can't stick with shit. Like, my gosh, we've been at it for a week and a half. What do you mean, why aren't we millionaires yet? You know? Lo and behold, guess what happens? His 5th year in. How about that? His 5th year in. Overnight. Boom! Made it. And when I say made it, we're talking 6, 7 digits. Which to me is made it. Hey, man, I've never seen $1 million in my life. Not yet. And so, hey, 6 figures? 7 figures? All right. I'll shoot for the 8 figure once I touch the 7 figure. Okay. I'll shoot for the billion once I touch the million. You know, but let me shoot for the million. Anyways, the whole idea of that story is I got this framework from being a part of that company. There were just moments for leverage, finding how to optimize everything, and there was just a period of time where it was sheer brute force, and we had to hold each other accountable. Like, hey, there's no time for leverage right now. We just have to go, and we have to go, and we have to go again. So you can play the long game by incorporating volume and leverage. Sometimes it's not about what you're doing not working. Sometimes it's just you haven't done enough of it. There was an Instagram page that I ran across a while back. I don't remember what it was or what the heck they were selling or what they were talking about. I just remember it because I couldn't believe it. It was a video that went viral. I was scrolling through Instagram, and it was a video that popped up on my feed. It went viral, like hundreds of millions. And this person literally copy and pasted that same exact video like 20 different times. Like, this person has posted damn near the same video 20 different times. And almost all of them flopped, except for like one, which was the one that didn't flop. So, volume and leverage, man. Volume and leverage, I'm sorry. Next one, obsess over work. Do I think that working is everything? No. Do I think there's any meaning in it? No. I don't necessarily find anything in life that meaningful. Just because I recognize the impermanence of everything, and so there's no reason to attach so much meaning to things that are impermanent. I do, however, believe that God is meaningful. And I define God not as a Christian. I define God as an omnibenevolent, omniscient, omnipotent force that dwells amongst the physical world, that dwells amongst all living organisms that walk, live, breathe, and move, that flows through all things, that dwells inside of us But the source of this force, the source of it exists in some type of plane that transcends and supersedes this physical space. So I find God meaningful. And so I'll talk about God. I mean, I spent a lot of years, spent a lot of time trying to figure out and trying to understand. I never grew up knowing about God. I actually believe I grew up atheist, which is strange that I believe in God. And I only believe in God because of the stack of evidence in my life. I don't have an explanation for things. And usually I have an explanation for everything. And there are just some things in my life that happen, and there's just zero chance it was coincidence. Like absolute zero. And it's happened multiple times. I'm gonna give you guys some examples. I'm sure you'll like it. I'll give you two. Back when I was with Brother Cosmetics, we had a very difficult season. And we needed to make something happen extremely fast. Otherwise, it's the likelihood of us going back to working at 9 to 5 would almost be reality. I think we had to sum up a large amount of change one day. And I don't know how the heck we did it, but we just tried something. Me going on TikTok Live. And within 2 days, I think we made like 22,000, 18,000. I forget. Off just me selling on live our products. Now, of course, we had to incentivize, right? Because there wasn't a lot of demand for our products. I mean, our products were known, but we had to incentivize the audience. It's like, hey, if you buy one pen, I'm gonna throw in 2 more pens for free. Oh my gosh, 3 pens for the price of 1. What a deal. I'll buy it right now. Boom. Just because we needed to survive, and so we needed money in to cover expenses. Reinvest in supplies just to break even, and hopefully with this new batch of supplies, we can just slowly go like this, because we were just breaking even for a long time. I had a problem at that time with women, meaning I was addicted. Hey man, we all got our thing. I was addicted. I needed to have a woman in my bed every night. And if I didn't have one, I damn sure was going to go to the bar and get one. It was really bad. And I don't like being transactional with God. I don't like it because I'm not the best judge of what's best for me. So anytime I'm transactional, I'm like, hey, God, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. I don't like it because it's not my call. I don't know what's best for me. And so to think that I know what's best and to make an offer with such an omniscient force would be very foolish. So I don't like being transactional with God. But this was the one time I said, hey, not the one time. This was the one of many times where I had my one-on-one. I said, hey, God, if you can somehow get me out of this mess, if you can somehow just help us not go back to working at a restaurant, I will give up the one thing that I love more than you, which is women. I will become celibate. You have my word. Two days later, 18 to 22,000. Boom, just like that. And I believe same week, I run into a woman at the gym. And I know about her. I've seen her a couple times. We would speak to each other, say hi to each other. And she was lovely, man. My gosh. She was lovely. So I go up to her and I just introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I just got done working out. You just got done working out. I'm starving. I know you're starving. Chipotle's right here. Let's go. She's like, okay, let's go. And we talked the whole night. We're in the car, and she hits me because anyway, she just hits me with this thing. She's like, Thompson, I don't know what you think you're going to get out of me, but I just want to let you know I'm celibate, and I've been my whole life. You're not getting nothing. Stay silent for a little bit. I said, huh. And I'm talking about this woman was like a supermodel, man. Me personally, I still believe this woman looks fantastic. My gosh. I mean, I dated the woman for a while. My gosh. You know? I still, even though like I really did her wrong, she was lovely, man. I'm like, celibate? My gosh, looking like that? That's crazy. So all I did was I put two and two together. I said, okay, there's no way it's a coincidence. I just had my one-on-one with God. Within 2 days, we're about to get 20K handed to us. And I just so happened to meet one of the most beautiful women. And she just so happened to be celibate her whole life. Damn. Ain't that something? That was the first time. The second time was I've trusted so many people in my life, not because I'm foolish, but because I choose to see the good in people. Because I remember when there was a time where people only saw the bad in me. And though I may have had a few things going on and it was not in my best interest to act and behave that way, I just wish that they would have seen the good in me as opposed to the bad in me. And so I choose to see the good in people on purpose. Not because I'm blind, not because I'm a fool, not because I'm young and I still have some growing to do, which that is true. But I see the good in people and I trust people willingly because that's how I wish people kind of would have viewed me and treated me instead of seeing me for all the bad and whatever. And so I've had a lot of people exit my life. I won't really get into details, but I just know for a fact that the people that exit my life they weren't exits, they were removed purposely by God. Purposely. And every single one of them, throughout the span of our relationship, there would be this creeping thought in the back of my head like, I don't think you should be trusting this person, Thompson. And I just never listened because I'm like, they haven't done anything wrong yet. It's fine. They haven't truly done anything wrong. Have they stabbed me? No. Have they murdered my family? No. Have they robbed me? No. So there's just been times where people were removed from my life, and I can't imagine what would have happened if they were not, if they stuck around. And because they were removed, I happened to undergo the most transformative process ever. So those are just two occurrences where God has really helped me out. Got a little off track. I'm sorry about that. Next one. Third principle. The ability to zoom out. So we have play the long game. And you can use volume and leverage and incorporate that to help you play the long game, measuring years. And I'm talking 5 years. Use that number 5. Use the 5-year block. 10 is fine too. You play the 10-year game. You're guaranteed to win in 10 years. Just play the 5-year mark. Cut in half. It helps me. All right. Next one is obsess over work. And like I said, I don't necessarily think work is meaningful, which is why I kind of went into that tangent that I just went on. Or I went on the tangent. Excuse my vocabulary. Obsession over work is just the ability to focus. And the ability to focus just translates to work. All right. So when professional athletes are practicing, that's work. And they're focused, they're dialed, they're locked in. If you can obsess over your work, that means you develop this muscle to be disciplined and to have intense focus without letting anything shake you. It's magnificent. Truly, truly is magnificent. And third one is zoom out. Here's what I mean when I say zoom out. Whatever problems you think you have, just go on Google Maps and just go like this. I mean, just after one or two of these, you'll see that an entire city is the size of your thumb on a digital screen. And then you go out far enough and you'll see the entire earth in her purest form, the size of your thumb. And yet, the size of our thumb is only a fraction to the size of our body. So just zoom out. I guarantee you, whatever you're going through right now, I'm sure it's tough and I'm sure it's devastating. But I can almost guarantee you that someone out here has it worse and is still doing it better. Guaranteed. If your mother just got shot, someone out here watched his mother and his father get shot. If everyone that you love just died, someone never had anyone to love to begin with. They've been alone since birth. Well, who knows, right? People go through some messed up things. This is why it's important to connect with people and hear these stories, because you're just like, a human went through that? Oh my gosh, that's awful. Damn, Zoom out and you'll see just how insignificant your problems are. Like sometimes, and I practice staying calm in the morning. I like a quiet start to my morning. I kind of integrate running in the morning every now and then, but for the most part, I like a quiet start to my day. And what a quiet start looks like is going to the steam room at my gym, just sitting there, steaming up. No music, just like that. What that does is it helps me stay calm despite the uncomfortability of the steam and how fast my heart is racing. I have problems in life. I still deal with this stuff, by the way, where something will happen and I let it affect me. And I'm just like, well, damn, did I really just let it affect me? Like someone will crash, a flying saucer will crash into my house and I would let that affect me. And I'm just like, for what? Like literally for what? For nothing. In 100 years, I'm going to die. Guaranteed. I can't escape it. And I guarantee you, I will not care about a flying saucer crashing into my house. It'll be a story that I laugh at and I can't wait to tell people. So moments where I let small things affect me, I catch myself and I'm like, I'm really affected right now. Okay. And what I begin to do is, so if you guys didn't know, when I was with my last woman, I was extremely self-centered, manipulative, and a narcissist to her. And I hate the word narcissist because everyone's a narcissist and no one even understands it. It's just a word. A good way to define narcissism is an individual that's completely obsessed with themselves, self-centered. They think the world revolves around them, and they exist within their own self-paradigm, so much so that they're either aware of it and they live in a delusion, or they're not even aware of it. And so they don't even know they're living in a delusion because it's reality to them. So I bring that up because since I was manipulative and I studied psychology and I just I chose to use my knowledge for bad and not good, what I would do is I would twist things. So if I was wrong, I would find a way to be right. All right? And if I was right and I didn't want to be right, I would find a way to be wrong. I was just so good at that. And so I apply the same thing to, let's say, something affecting me in life. Okay. I dropped this pen and it's my favorite pen and it breaks. Okay. And I can't find them anywhere. Nowhere. Nowhere. It's one of a kind. You can't get this anywhere on the market. Nowhere. I got a custom made and everything. Cool. Let's say I dropped this pen. Like that. Oh no, it broke. And I let it affect me. I'll identify why it affected me, and then what I'll do is I'll completely manipulate myself to say that shouldn't be affecting you at all. Like, it makes no sense. So whatever didn't make sense to me, I literally talk myself out of it and say, oh, okay, that makes no sense. And I manipulate myself to believe a whole nother doctrine. So for example, here's how it'll work. This is literally my thought process anytime something happens, an occurrence that just isn't the easiest thing to go through. We're going to use the pen as an example. I dropped the pen. I'm affected and I am mad because it's my favorite pen. It's my favorite pen because I've attached value to something physical. I've attached value to something physical because I just enjoy it. Because I enjoy it, I didn't know how to walk the fine line between enjoyment and minute obsession. So I became minutely obsessed on something physical. Now, I need to get out of this framework. So what I'll say is, well, you know you're going to die, right? Yeah. Would 90-year-old Thompson care about that pen? And I'll say, no. I'll say, are you going to be 90-year-old Thompson one day? I say, yeah. I say, shouldn't you just start behaving like that? Like him? And then when I put it like that, I'm like, yeah, I probably should. Yeah, you're right. This is worthless. And so now I've just manipulated and I brainwashed myself. So zoom out. That's really helped me. So zoom out and then you can use the manipulation tactic on yourself. So you believe one thing, talk yourself out of believing it and believe something else. It's not that difficult. Reinforce it enough times and it just sticks. If every day I wake you up and I say, you're going to die one day, man. 100 years from now, you're going to die. After about a few months, the message would be so deeply engraved in your unconscious that you begin to think of a life and how your life would be if you just lived with that one principle, which is you're going to die in 100 years. Or at least that's what happened for me. If I adopt a framework or a principle, anything that happens in my life, I kind of attach the framework and I attach the principle to that thing. Right? So zooming out, that's a framework and that's a principle that I've had to practice repetitively until it really got engraved in my damn head. All right, zoom out. Next one, number 4. This one's a funny one, man. And I've spoken about this before. Principles for just high performers or just anyone successful is this strange paradox of being insecure, feeling inferior, yet having this superiority complex and they believe they're better than everyone, which is strange. So they're insecure because they know and they want to achieve more, but they've yet to achieve more. And so you'll probably ask, well, how does that make them insecure? Well, it's only insecure if they perceived the external world to give a damn about what they've achieved and what they haven't achieved, right? That's the only time. So their desolate and devastating demeanor is a consequence of perceiving something in a manner which caused you to feel inferior. So insecurity is just predicated on what people think. Now, you'll know this is true if, let's say right now you're out of shape. Or no, you know what? Let's say right now, everyone on the face of this planet disappeared. Everyone. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, everyone you loved, everyone. All living creatures, everyone. It's just you and a bunch of infrastructure. Would you give a damn about anything now? There's no one to judge. Of course you don't. Or well, if you said yes, I still do. Hey, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just a me thing. Insecurity can be solved by simply not giving a damn about what people have to say, not giving a damn about the judgment of you. But this is not an excuse to be desolate, lazy, weak, pathetic, inferior, and sloppy. That's not an excuse to just be sloppy, walk around mindless, being a knucklehead and saying, hey, I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to do me and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. And you're freaking overweight and you just have a bunch of bad habits. That's not an excuse for you to do that. It's just a method to get rid of this lingering feeling that you're not enough. Now, the superiority complex comes from inside. This superiority complex is they just know they're better than everyone. They do things that not everyone else can do. They make things happen. They keep their word, and they have a stack of evidence to show that they are capable of doing something even bigger. So they're like, damn, why am I in this position? I mean, I deserve better. I'm built for more. What the heck is all of this? But it's because we think we know everything. We're only human, man. We don't know anything. But we think we know it all. We think we know we think we know what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, and how it's supposed to happen. As if we're that intuitive. But we're not. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't. Things don't go our way because it's not supposed to all the time. Imagine if things went your way since you were a child and you were able to call the shots. Oh man, your life would be screwed. Screwed. Or mine would. Mine would definitely be screwed, man. I was not ready for a lot of money at a young age. Imagine giving a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old $1 million. I would have did drugs or something. Went to the club and blew it all. I wasn't ready for it. So that's the fourth principle. High performers have this crippling insecurity, but yet they think they're better than everyone. They have this superiority complex. I love it. Next one. A delusional belief. Moments when I had nothing to show, thousands of dollars in debt, and I had the necessities, which was beautiful: roof over my head, a place to lay my head at night, food, water, clothes. It was magnificent. Transportation. For the most part, it wasn't too bad, but it was pretty tough. In moments like that, I was so delusional. I still believed that I was going to get out of it somehow. I tell stories about how I would go to sleep and I just would hold the pistol in my hand. I would just look at it and I would take my thumb and I would just flip the safety on and off and I would just kind of look at it and wonder, like, what if? And there was one in the head. Even then, I knew that I was going to win somehow. Because maybe it was the only thing that gave me enough hope to wake up and get out of bed. And so I had to live in that delusion. I had nothing to show for it. I was a loser. I lost weight. I lost like 10, 15 pounds. Got super skinny. Didn't eat, didn't sleep. I was looking pale. I was just not at my best. Because I remember how my best was, and it was not that. I still believed somehow that I was going to win. And it was very, very delusional. Because to the outside, to the external world, if anyone saw me, they'd be like, maybe this isn't cut out for you, Thompson. Or maybe you should do something else. Maybe this whole, this whole entrepreneur thing, this whole trying to impact the world and speak your truth, maybe this isn't it for you. Just do something else. This isn't you. I could have adopted that, but instead I said, no, it's gonna work out. And it was pure delusion until it wasn't anymore. And that's the game of entrepreneurship. It's pure delusion until one day it becomes reality. Everyone that I've met that was successful had this insane idea of what reality was. And it's like they can truly bend space-time. They are some of the most animalistic people in the world. Like, they're magnificent. And you have people, some of the greatest are like this, right? They have this mode that they step into. It's like, it's Jordan, it's Kobe, it's Tyson, it's Usain Bolt, it's Brady. There's a mode that they all get in. And I don't believe it's focus. I believe they know how to enter the framework of delusion, which I believe is much more powerful than focus, arguably. Focus allows you to focus on the task at hand and do it in a manner where distractions don't really catch your eye. Delusion means you just don't care, and you just don't care, and you're still gonna do it. So it's not like you acknowledge, okay, I have to focus on the task at hand. It's just, I don't really care. Because I know everything's gonna work itself out. So I'm just gonna do it. Give me. Right? It's this nonchalant strength that gives people this intrinsic drive to just snap into this mode that turns them into a freaking monster. It's magnificent. Delusional belief. Believe. And the world will ridicule you. There's this person on Instagram. His name is Andy Elliott. I think he has a licensing company where he teaches people how to sell. I don't know. You can search him up, official Andy Elliott. Not a lot of people like him, man. They don't like his message. They don't like the way he speaks to people. Is it annoying? No, it's different. I don't know him, but a lot of people think they do. And so they'll destroy him for it. And yet the dude is so delusional that he's like, okay, still making his money, right? Way to win, man. Way to go, And that's the benefit of being able to snap into this delusional state of mind. Things don't affect you. You're nonchalant about everything. And that is the greatest superpower. It's called being in Zen mode, baby. Next one. A clear enough vision. It doesn't have to be the highest resolution vision. When I talk about a clear vision, I mean set a goal. Just set a destination and don't worry about the journey. Just really embrace the journey. Don't worry about anything else. Just go. Think of it like this. If you're going to take a 3-hour drive, you may dread the drive, but when you arrive, you're like, huh, the drive wasn't that bad. And along the way, you probably saw a few things that caught your attention. What a clear enough vision does is just allows you to know where you're headed despite the ups and downs. So you have the direction set in the map and it's taking you through some weird dark tunnel. You're not doubting it because it says right here, this is where I'm supposed to go to get to my destination. So that's what a clear enough, doesn't have to be extremely clear now. We're not talking 20/20 vision. We're just talking about if the image is blurry, that is good enough. We can manage. There's been so many times where if I had just set a clear enough vision, clear enough, I could have avoided so many unnecessary things. But it was because my vision wasn't clear enough. I'd say, oh, yeah, I want money. That's not clear enough. Okay, so does everyone else. How are you going to get it? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And I figured nothing out because I just knew what I wanted. Didn't even know where I was going. It's kind of like getting in your car, wanting to drive to Los Angeles, but not knowing how to get to Los Angeles. And so you just start driving and taking weird streets. Now, next thing you know, you're in freaking New Orleans. Like, you know? A few years ago, all I wanted was money. Then, all I wanted was to do what I wanted. Then, all I wanted was money again. Then, just so many ups and downs because the vision wasn't clear. And then, once I was able to set a clear vision, I said, huh. Okay, I'm done with this. So for a while, I was studying psychology, philosophy, spirituality, just contemplating the abyss and the human experience and things of that nature, trying to understand the cosmos and all that. So I dove really deep into that. And I saw that evidently it did nothing to help me progress in any other area of my life. So I believe that we are what we think about, how we feel, what we do that creates who we are. And so there's this book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Moore. Always recommend that book. Love it. Any young man out there, read the book, man. It's cheap. 160 pages. I think it's like $15 on Amazon. King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, Robert Moore. Talks about a psychological roadmap to understanding the masculine psyche. And so you have what you are, which you can consider it a warrior. You can consider what you feel, how you feel, your lover, and then what you think about, your magician, because magicians are known to be highly intuitive, intellectual. And then if you can coherently integrate all three of these things to make this complete trinity, you will have the whole of it, which is who you are. You are those three things. The sum of those three things, at least. And be mindful you have to integrate them into each other. It's a great book, man. You'll know what I'm talking about. Just read the book. Maybe I'll give a lesson on it one day. It's psychology. I still have a love for psychology. It's here. I still like it. I got nowhere because I was just focused on existentialism and all this stuff. Understanding the cosmos is not in my control. And I came to realize we're not meant to understand, just meant to accept. And it took me 24 years to realize that. It took me 24 years to realize that. It was awful, man. And so I was wondering why I was so down and I was so unmotivated. And it's because, well, I'm learning about things I can't control. What? Of course. I can't do anything about it. And I didn't want to accept it, so I just kept pondering. I was like, well, what about this? What about this? You're not, I wasn't going to figure it out. I don't think any human is meant to figure it out. I think you figure it out once you die. And if you just so happen to be intelligent enough to figure it out, then hey, then you can live a much more prosperous life than a lot of people. So, as of this point in my life, what I think the meaning of life is, I said it earlier, it's just to understand that everything is impermanent, which makes us value things and that should incentivize us to do things so that we can see right before our eyes the power that we have as creatures who can literally take what's in their mind and turn it into reality with enough effort and enough perseverance, which is why I'm such a big fan of entrepreneurship and business. I like it so much because it's someone pulling an idea, a dream, and they have to somehow pull it and turn it into reality, and they know nothing and they don't know where to start, and they're just trying to figure it out. Believe it or not, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, they don't know what the heck they're doing. They're just, day by day, they're just trying to figure it out. I could have avoided all of that if I just had a clear vision. So instead of just, I want this, I want that, or I don't want this, and I don't want that, what happened was I began to switch my content switch the contents in which I was diving into. So instead of psychology, instead of philosophy, instead of all this, I have a solid foundation when it comes to psychology, analytical, depth psychology, philosophy. The problem I had wasn't that I lacked the information. The problem I had was I couldn't take action. If you can learn from other people's mistakes, you're wise. If you can learn from your own mistakes, you're smart. If you make a mistake and don't learn from it, you're stupid. I was stupid. I made mistakes and kept repeating them. And evidently, if you do that, you're not learning. And that was the cycle for a long time. And it was like this. I do good for 2 weeks, and then now I do bad for a week, and then good for 2.5 weeks, and then bad for a week, and then good for 3 weeks, and then bad for 2 weeks. Like, it was so annoying. And I saw that it's because I was so consumed with this desire to acquire more and more knowledge. That's what actually destroyed me. So I said, okay, if I just stop learning now and I just don't learn anything new and just execute everything that I know thus far, and if I do decide to learn, I just make sure I don't move on to the next book, the next video, the next podcast, whatever it may be, until I am able to execute everything, integrate everything, analyze everything that I've just learned. So I slowed learning down, increased action, and that was it. And that set a clear vision for what I wanted, which got me into writing, right? Because I was like, well, I enjoy this, which got me into doing these YouTube videos, right? If you guys don't believe me, I take your feedback very seriously, because I don't know what I'm doing. I kind of just go on here and I talk, and I just so happen to be blessed with enough experiences that allows me to give you in-depth understanding and perhaps a different perspective, so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made, so that you can learn and do better, so that when you are 24, or if you're older than me, in 2 years' time, you'll be much farther ahead than me, or in 6 months, right? That's kind of the goal with all of this. A clear enough vision. Set that. Remember, it does not have to be crystal clear. Just set it. Set it. If you're going to drive somewhere, you punch in the location and you just go and you trust the map. So if you want something in life, set a clear enough vision that you know where to go, and then just trust the process. Nature will do exactly as she's always done, and she will take care of you. So will God. All right. Next. Being able to take action despite how you feel is the next principles of high performers. Taking action despite how you feel is evidence that someone knows how to enter their logical mind. We have one mind, but we are emotional and logical. Not at the same time, but separately. If I'm logical, structured, analyze, breaking everything down, what is the best way to proceed? If I'm emotional, I don't really care about any of that. If I'm angry, I will scream, yell, and punch somebody in the mouth. If I am sad, I will weep and cry, scream, I don't know. You need to be able to differentiate the difference between a logical thought and an emotional thought, because you'll have them. And if you're not aware enough, mindful enough to kind of pick up on what category this thought falls under, you might end up doing the wrong thing. And so if you're angry and you think that the most logical way is to scream, it might lead to something worse. There's a saying, since I'm on the topic of anger, there's a saying that goes, there is nothing more dangerous and destructive than a person with no control while they're angered. It's terrible. It's terrifying. You anger somebody to that degree and they have no control. Oh my gosh, you're going to see something else. So taking action despite feeling, and I still struggle with this. So I'll kind of give you my tips and tricks that has helped me. So when I feel like I don't want to do something, I say, okay, it's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I don't want to give it 100%. Because I acknowledge the possibility that if I do it, the chances of me giving it 100% are relatively low. And I don't like that. So how about we just try 1%? So for example, usually when I record these YouTube videos, I knock them all out in a single day, right? I kind of have content ideas planned out. I'll write them down. Most of the times they're on my computer, but I've just started writing them down. I think it just looks more cool when I'm holding some type of, notebook and a pen. I think it's cool. When I don't want to go to the gym, because I'm not David Goggins, I just try my best, or I just try. Not my best. But let's say moments where I don't want to train. It's because I don't want to give it 100% because I don't believe that I can give it 100%. So I'm like, okay, let's just go. Give it 1%. I was like, Thompson, can you give it 1%? I'm like, yes, I can definitely do that. So I go. And I'll do some pull-ups and dips and body weight squats. The next thing you know, the momentum's going. And two things will happen. Either one, I call it, and that was my 1%, 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 body weight squats, maybe a 1 mile jog, sauna, done. That's 1% to me. And then I try to give it 2% the next day. But at least I showed up so I don't lose momentum. So either that'll happen, or as I'm just trying to give it 1%, I just gain so much leverage that it just shoots up. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm at 37% now. I might as well just shoot for 50. Oh, I'm at 50% now. I might as well just shoot for 100, right? Oh, I did 100 pull-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups. Oh, well, maybe I could weight train. Let's go. Let's see how I feel after legs. Do legs? I'm wonder how I feel after a little bit of shoulders and abs. I'm like, that's a full body workout almost. What do you know? All right, so anytime I don't want to do anything, I have to understand why do I not want to do it. And it's been this case for me all the time. When I don't want to do something, it's because I just believe that I can't give it 100%. And I want to give it 100%, but I just don't believe that I can. So I'm lazy. But I've been there where I didn't do anything and I lost momentum, and it was so difficult to gain it back. It was so difficult to just get up the next day and say, okay, fresh day. No. Oh my gosh, it was tough. And so it's helped me not lose the momentum so that I can just increase 1% a day, get better 1% a day. And I'm so big on that. Like, they have this integration method when you strength train where they'll add 2.5 pound plates, and you do that on a long enough time horizon, and you'll see strength gains. Like, you will see your deadlift, your squat, your presses, they'll go up because they're small integrations. It's not like you're slapping a 45-pound plate on both sides. No, it's 2.5 pound plate. 2.5 pound plate. That's 5%, I think. Is it? I don't know. I'm not good with math. Is that 5%? 2.5 pounds of 45 pounds? I'm comparing it to a 45-pound plate. I'm unsure. There's this idea that micro habits result in atomic habits, big habits. I believe that to be true. Minimal, 1% a day. You have no idea how much that'll compound. If you know anything about compounding interest, you know that the longer you do it, the more money you get. So the longer you just do something, the better you'll get. And you don't have to worry about giving it 100% every day. Some of us just aren't capable. I sure am not. And so I give it 1% sometimes. It's okay. Better than zero. Better than zero. Next one, time management. This one's huge, man. If you ever hear someone say, I literally don't have time, no, you just don't know how to manage your time better. I've seen some of the most busiest people manage their time exceptionally well to where they're juggling 3 things at once. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Time management, meaning set deadlines. Schedule your day. Set up your day. If you don't have like this mental image of how your day is going to go, abide by a schedule so that at 7 a.m., instead of just laying in bed still and scrolling through TikTok, on your schedule says 7 a.m., go for a run. Okay, get up, go for a run. Finish run by 7:45. Okay, finish run by 7:45. 8 o'clock, eat breakfast, cool, whatever. So time management is super important. I've never had calendars. I kind of just play out my day in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up at this time, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna do this, and then I'll see what time. I'll see what time it is. I'll see what time it is when I'm done. And then when I'm done, I'm like, okay, what else do I have to do today? Okay, then I'll move on to the next important task. And I'm like, okay, what else do I have to do today? And I'll move on to the next important task. The only time I use a calendar is for really, really important tasks or events that I just cannot afford to forget. I am not forgetful, but I tend to let something slip past my mind sometimes. Not all the time, but it can happen. So important events and tasks, they go to my calendar. And I define important by the thing that I must do that will give me the highest return. So far, it's train, because that's just number one, is train. Then it's deep work after the training. Then once the deep work is done, then is the deep learning. Once the deep learning is done, it's preparation for the next day. That's it. That's kind of like, those are 4 blocks, I believe. 4 or 5. I forget what I said. Pretty sure I said 4. But those are 4 blocks. Train, deep work, deep learning, prep. 4 blocks. And inside of these blocks, there's tasks. So train, it'll be a steam room, cold shower, jog, weight train, then this. All right. Deep work, this is where I will zone in. Just go. I try to be in a dark place and I just computer and I go. I start writing, I start making content, I start studying, etc., etc. Then deep learning. When I've done all my content, when I did the deep work and I prepped a couple days out, I'm like, okay, now I will pick up a book and I will read. After I'm done reading, I pretty much close the day with preparation for the next day by kind of going over everything I have to do tomorrow in my head. And that's it. I keep things very simple because I don't need a lot. Right? Next one, urgency. And this is huge for business, entrepreneurs, and just life. Hey, you need to move with urgency and speed. Everything in business, I wanted it to be urgent. Now, I made mistakes. I'm human. Forgive me. But I made the mistake young, so that means I can learn from it. But my urgency led to mistakes because the speed in which I was moving caused quality to decrease. Right? Let's say I want you to fold a paper plane. Take your time, make it perfect. I'm going to give you an hour. Okay, now let's say I just want you to fold a bunch of paper planes. Do you think that these planes will look good or worse? Surprisingly enough, there was a study done. There's a teacher with a clay pot class, like a pottery class, and he had two classes, class 1, class 2. Class 1, he said, hey guys, this entire semester, just make one clay pot. Make it as perfect as you can. That's all you gotta do. Second class, he was like, hey guys, for this semester, make as many clay pots as you can. I don't care how they look. Just make, I want to be able to see that it's a pot. And what they found was class 2, who just did sheer volume, not only produced more, but the quality of their pots actually increased because they got so accustomed to it. All right? I didn't pick up on that fast enough. So my speed and urgency led to a decrease in quality. It doesn't have to be that way. Speed and urgency can literally be the reason why quality increases because you're doing it so many times at such a rapid pace, repetitively, over and over and over. Like cold calling. If you are sheer volume cold calls, you will get better at cold calling, right? However, with me, I moved so fast, I just didn't really think. A lot of things slipped my mind. A lot. Just because I don't care to think about anything unnecessary. And I define unnecessary by, is this going to make me laugh? Is this going to put some money in my bank account? Are we talking about God? Is this how to grow? Or is this how to become a better human? If not, I don't really care to hear about it. Urgency. Act now. Business owners, entrepreneurs, hey man, now. Do it now. Oh, bro, I got the idea. Okay, make it happen. Hey man, what if we do this for the website? Okay, make it happen. Hey man, make it happen now. Do it now. Not later, not in a second, not hold on, give me a second. No, do it now. Urgency, move fast. You don't have time. How fast would you move if someone held a gun to your head or someone you loved? Pretty fast. There's your incentive. That's what we call motivation. The reason why high performers move with urgency and they're so adamant on being quick, time management, punctual, is because the faster they are at making a decision, the quicker they can move on to the next decision. The faster they can make a choice, the sooner they can focus on something else. If you know you have to do something and you put it off for as long as you can, that thought will exist inside your head for the longest, all the way until the day you get it done. And so every day is just sucking away at your soul, just sucking away, reminding you, hey, the work still has to get done. And you're just like, oh my gosh, which is why I'm so against procrastination. Like, it feels so much better to just actually do the thing now instead of just wait a couple days or even a week with it in the back of my head, like, I have to get it done eventually. I'm going to put it off for as long as I can. I'm just going to put it off. I don't think there's anything worse than that. It feels terrible. And I'm not a big fan of feeling terrible. So do it now. Urgency. Fast. Last one. A dislike for small talk. High performers are close to innovators in that they always want to achieve, they always want to do, they always want to grow. Some of them are big on productivity. Some of them are the best entrepreneurs. Small talk does nothing. Small people talk about other people. Bigger people talk about ideas. The biggest people talk about the execution of ideas. I've been around people who just talk the talk. They're not about it. I've been them, so I get it. At the end of the day, there's just nothing worse than living a life where you are miserable almost every day. So do the thing that makes you feel less miserable. And if you can just do the things that make you feel less miserable and you find a way to have it align with whatever it is that you so desire, you will change your life. I guarantee you. Use getting in shape, for example. Let's say you need to get in shape and you're miserable because you're out of shape and you want to look better, you want to look good, you want to feel good, you want people to look at you and think you are so handsome, if you're a woman, so gorgeous, all that good stuff. Find a way to make going to the gym less miserable because it directly aligns with your goal, which is to look better, feel better. How can you make it enjoyable? And I use this framework of present a reward at the moment of task completion. And so if you want to train a dog, you don't punish the dog, right? They learn quicker by reward than punishment. So humans were similar in that aspect where we don't really learn when someone punishes us. We learn when we're rewarded, right? So let's say I drop my phone and I break it and it's the company phone. If I get disciplined, I'll just be hyper emotional in a way that will cause me to become envious and desolate, and I start to rationalize my own insufficiencies. And next thing you know, I cast blame to the world, right? And that path leads to what? Self-sabotage, destruction, complete annihilation. Now, if in the case that I can flip it, and I get a reward, what happens is, now I can say, this feels nice. So the likelihood of me becoming envious and bitter, it's close to none because I got a reward, right? That'll make, for example, going to the gym more pleasurable. Just do something which makes you less miserable. Present a task or present an award, at the moment of task completion. Say you're going to get something done, get it done. Present an award, that's it. Go get a chocolate muffin, you earned it. Reinstate the behavior. What that does is it reinstates the behavior. So you're like, okay, it is rewarding to go to the gym. Now that it's rewarding to go to the gym, I'm going to go back and do it all over again tomorrow. And then if I want to reinstate the behavior again, I will also reward myself and do it again tomorrow. There's a lot of different tips, tricks, and methods to do things. At the end of it, all my videos will mean nothing if you just don't do the work. Just do the work. That's it. It all boils down, everything that I've just read, like everything I've just read, everything that I've took notes on in my life, like everything, like all these notes, man, candlestick charts. So everything that I just read, play the long game, obsess over work, have a delusional belief, zoom out, be insecure while thinking that you're better than people, have a clear enough vision, take action despite how you feel, have time management, have a sense of urgency, and create a strong dislike for small talk. All of this boils down to, are you going to do it or not? And I gave you ones and twos, nickels and dimes to help you do it, but you just have to do it. Play the long game. I gave you ones and twos, volume and leverage. But you still have to play the long game. Obsess over work. I try to give you an idea of what work meant to me. But you just have to do the work. Zoom out. Your problems are not that big. Get over it. Move on. You have to move on. Do it. This one's a little bit different. Insecurity while having this superiority complex and thinking that you're better than everyone. This one's a little strange. We'll skip that one. That one's different. A delusional belief. Are you going to have the delusional belief or not? Yes or no? A clear enough vision. Are you going to establish one? Taking action despite how you feel. Will you do it? Time management. Are you going to work on it? Create a sense of urgency. Will you do it? Create a strong dislike for trust. Will you do it? And so I see things black and white. I don't believe things have gray areas at all. I truly believe you do or you don't. And I wholeheartedly believe that gray areas were created with people or by people that simply could not do. And so they try to point the blame finger outwards and say, well, I couldn't run in the Olympics because I was born without a left leg. Okay. So what? Try. Have you tried to strap on that metal boot and go for a sprint? They have people that play basketball in wheelchairs. Wheelchair basketball. Shut up. Just shut up. It's so annoying. Gray areas are excuses. No, it's not that simple. Not everything is black and white. Well, you're just weak. And I can talk as much smack as I want because I've been that person who tried to create these gray areas in an attempt to rationalize his own pathological, self-destructive behaviors. When the reality was, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the strength in me to just do better. I did, or I did not, and I chose did not. I was presented two choices: do or don't. I chose don't, and I became the dude that tried to rationalize everything. Oh no, this is why, bro. You gotta understand. It's because of my trauma. It's my childhood, man. This habit has been engraved in me since I was a youngster, bro. You have to, and no one cares. Like, yes, your life can be screwed up because of this X, Y, and Z, and because of your childhood trauma. And what? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to dwell inwards, explore the territory known as your psyche and the abyss known as your unconscious in order to locate trauma that's been deeply regressed? You sure you want to enter the unconscious? Do it. Solve your trauma. Oh no, I don't want to do all that. Okay. You're not going to get better. And it's okay. You'll never get better. And I say that in the most motivating way possible, not like I'm some superior person holding his hand up saying, no, 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 be like me. No, I've been worse than you. Like, I can guarantee you, I've been worse than you. I just made a different choice. You got it, man. Like, and I'm talking about, I'm bottom of the barrel. Here's a quick, here's a little motivation. I was the kid that grew up with both parents. Well, my father split with my mother when I was young. I don't really remember too much. So my mother raised me. I was fortunate enough to have my father around for my younger years. It wasn't the best thing to have him around, but it's quite a blessing. And I was exceptionally good at school because I feared of letting my father down. And then I couldn't go to sleep for school because I just heard too much noise and ruckus and breaking and the vases and the screaming. I just too much. And so drugs and alcohol, baby. Drugs and alcohol all throughout high school, man. Drugs and alcohol. And I fell down. Bottom of the barrel, man. Wore a hoodie every day. Had acne. I was so insecure about my acne that I wore a hoodie in like 112-degree weather or like 107-degree weather. A hood just to cover up my damn face. It's ridiculous. Graduated, didn't even do anything, man. I was just drinking. Had nothing over me. Left to the military. In the military, no one liked me. Nobody. Barely anyone. I didn't know myself. I was a fraud. I was fake. I developed this fake Southern accent as if I was brought up in the hood and the projects. As if that house right in front of me is a house with bricks. Like, no, I'm in the damn suburbs. I was raised in the suburbs. Went to the military and developed this fake identity. And it stuck. You can hear it when I speak still. Like, this is as authentic as I can get it to sound. This voice right here, because I'm in control of it. Like, I could bring it lower like this if I wanted to. I could bring it like this. I could talk like this if I wanted to. I could bring it back down low right here if I wanted to, right? It just depends on the amount of energy that I'm willing to exert. So this is evidently me not exerting too much energy. This is me exerting just a little bit more energy. And this is me exerting a lot of energy, right? But I was a fraud. I got kicked out. No one liked me. My work ethic was terrible. I was a pitiful excuse for a man. I wasn't taught anything. Then next thing you know, I'm at a gym, scrubbing poop off toilets and picking up bloody tampons. I'm door dashing on the side. Like, to drive 8 hours to deliver food, make like $120 just for $70 to go straight to gasoline. That means I made $50 in 8 hours. That means in an hour I was making less than $10 an hour. It was tough. And I was highly blessed, I was really blessed, man. Learned how to sell. I got kicked out the military, and I did all that. Learned how to sell memberships. Got an opportunity at a small company, Brother Cosmetics, and then from there, for some odd reason, I'm here now. And while I was at Brother Cosmetics, no one liked me. I was very hard to be around. I'm not the easiest dude to be around. I'm angry all the time. I don't talk much. I will not laugh at your stupid jokes. I will not have fun if we go out to the club. If you somehow get me to go out with you, I will have an angry face the whole time. I don't care. If you open your mouth and it's not about business, how to get more money, entrepreneurship, psychology, philosophy, how to grow as a human, how to become better, God, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. So I'm not the easiest guy to be around. I'm not. People would talk behind my back when I would defend them with honor. People saw a bad side of me. I was belittled for being employed by a friend repetitively by numerous amounts of people. Oh well. What can you do? Can't do anything about it. I was highly blessed, right? Uh, but I'm bottom of the barrel, so you can do it too. Good luck. Trust me, you can do it, man. Like you're built for something. Just imagine you at 70 years old and everything's a mess. There's clutter everywhere, and you look around at all these unfinished projects and the books you never wrote and the letters you never wrote and the things you never did, and now your youth is gone. And those one days turned into never. And now you've decided to never do it because you've decided that it's too late now, even though it probably isn't. You don't want to experience that. You're going to die one day, man. You're going to face God. God's going to show you this image of a person that's everything you've ever wanted to become. Like everything you've ever wanted to become, this person is that to the T. You're going to say, well, who's this? God is going to respond with, this is who I created you to be. But you cannot live up to your potential. Don't put yourself through that. And don't think that you're not born to win or you're not born to succeed and you weren't born for it. You can be taught. I wasn't born with a singing voice. I guarantee you, if I spend the next 5 years every day repetitively working on my falsetto and being able to raise my voice and lower it, and I learned how to sing harmoniously, and I sound like Whitney Houston, I guarantee you, I will make it in singing, and I will become the most magnificent singer. And I was not born for it, but I learned it. I was taught to behave in a manner in which a singer would behave in, right? And so that's the idea. And then this will probably be the last one, and then I'll let you guys go. Don't ever say that you can't learn anything. Don't ever say that, oh, I don't think it's meant for me. I'm not born for that. You haven't been taught to behave in a manner in which someone that's good at that thing will behave in. Roller skating. If you hate it because you broke your collarbone and you're like, oh, it's not for me, I'm not born to roller skate. Every time you think of roller skating, you'll think fear. What does someone that is pretty good at roller skating do? They get excited. So you're not behaving like someone that is good at roller skating. You're behaving like someone who's scared of roller skating. Believe. Right? Just believe. Believe and do. Everything I am, everything, whatever this is right in front of you, I've been taught my whole life and I've been highly blessed and I did nothing alone. Everything that I've done, I've had people by my side. I don't believe anyone is truly self-made. I think the people that say they're self-made they're just prideful. They want the world to give them their flowers and roses. They want the world to be like, hooray, way to go, Mr. Entrepreneur, you're so cool. No one gives a damn. No one gives a damn if you make $1 million tomorrow. And no one gives a damn if you die tomorrow. It's like no one cares. Life moves on. You want to know how I know this? When you go to sleep, who do you think about? You. When I go to sleep, I sure think about me. My life. When you wake up, what do you think about? What you have to do today. I sure do the same thing. When I wake up, I have to think about what I need to do today. So, no one is thinking about you as much as you think they are. Which means no matter what happens, do it without fear. And meet me at the top. This is why I document everything. This is exactly why I document everything. Watch my old videos. They're not that old. They're like 2-3 months old. I speak of it like it was decades ago. No, this was recent. Watch my oldest video. Pay attention to how skinny I was, the tone of my voice, the look in my eyes. Pay attention. You'll see it. This was not that long ago. Just watch my videos, man. I document everything. I tell you guys how I lost it all, how to gain it back. And I'm not afraid because I've lost it all before and I will gain it back. Watch them. And I'm bottom of the barrel, man. And I'm nobody. So you definitely got this. That's all I got, man. You guys take it easy. I'll see you on the next one.